Stop and listen carefully, because this is not an ordinary word for you, and it is not arriving by accident. Archangel Michael says there is a person close to you whose true intentions are about to come into the light, and the timing of this revelation is not random. Tonight is carrying something heavier than it appears. For years, you have felt the tension, the mixed signals, the unanswered questions, the strange pause in certain conversations, the doors that opened and closed without explanation, and the uneasy sense that something hidden was moving beneath the surface. You were not imagining it. Heaven saw what you could not fully prove, and now the veil is thinning. Do not ignore this message, because what is about to be revealed has been building quietly for a long time, and it reaches far beyond one relationship. It touches your healing, your next season, and the way you will understand your own story. There have been moments when you tried to dismiss the feeling, when you told yourself that maybe you were too sensitive, too tired, too guarded, too hopeful. But heaven knows the difference between fear and discernment, and this is one of the moments where discernment was protecting you before your mind had the evidence to explain it. The one near you may have spoken kindly, smiled easily, and stood close enough to seem trustworthy, yet your spirit kept sensing a second layer, another motive, a hidden current beneath the surface words. Stay with this, because the answer is not just about betrayal or disappointment. It is about revelation, and revelation always arrives with timing. God does not expose something early if early exposure would destroy what he is still preserving. Tonight there is a shift in the atmosphere, and the stars that appear after sunset are not merely beautiful signs. They are witnesses that heaven has been watching every delay. Type 1, believe if you trust that God sees what people hide. You have carried a question for years, maybe longer than you want to admit, and that question has sat in your heart like a sealed letter. Why did that person pull back? Why did that promise suddenly change? Why did that door close after looking so open? Why did the dream not die, even when the circumstances said it should? Listen, because there is another truth being revealed now. Some of your confusion was not the end of the story. It was the cover over a process you could not yet see. Heaven has been sorting intentions, testing foundations, and allowing time to expose what words alone could never reveal. The person close to you may not even fully understand their own heart, but their next move will make their direction clear. Do not skip this part, because the revelation is coming in layers, and the first layer will feel small before it becomes undeniable. Comment God is working if you sense that your waiting has not been wasted. There is something else you need to know. The delay you hated was also a shield. What felt like a closed road may have been God preventing you from stepping into a situation before the truth was visible. You wanted clarity sooner, and of course you did, because the human heart hates uncertainty. But heaven was not ignoring you. Heaven was protecting you from a premature answer that would have shaken you before you were ready to receive the fuller one. Now the moment has arrived when hidden things begin to surface, and the person you thought might remain a mystery will begin to reveal themselves through words, actions, and choices that can no longer be explained away. Keep reading carefully, because this is not just about them. It is about the God who preserved your path while your emotions were learning how to survive the wilderness. Type protected if you know divine restraint has been surrounding you. Some of you have been haunted by a dream that never faded. You woke up with it still alive in your spirit, and time did not erase it. Even when people told you to move on, that dream kept returning like a lantern in the dark, refusing to die. That was never random. In heaven's record, certain promises remain written long after earthly voices have tried to call them unrealistic. And now, at this appointed hour, the scroll is being unsealed at midnight. Not because your life is ruled by darkness, but because midnight is often the hour when what was hidden becomes visible enough to change everything. There are conversations already happening behind the scenes that you have not heard, and one of them concerns you more than you know. A decision is being weighed, a truth is pressing upward, a name is being mentioned where you cannot see. Stay until the end, because the next revelation changes everything. Comment still standing if you have refused to let disappointment make you quit. You have likely noticed the strange pattern of recent months. A door you expected to open stayed shut, while another door opened briefly and then closed before you could even step through. A person you trusted seemed near, then distant, then near again, as if their heart could not choose its direction. That inconsistency has been draining you, and it has made you question your own judgment. But this is where heaven wants you to pause and see the larger pattern. When rivers search for their source, they do not do it in a straight line. They carve through stone, bend around obstacles, and still arrive at the place where life begins to flow. Your story has been like that river. The question you have carried is approaching its answer, and the answer is tied to why certain connections could not remain as they were. Do not leave now, because what looks like a relational shakeup may actually be a holy correction. Type 777 if you believe completion is near. Before we continue, I feel led to share something with you. Over the years, thousands of people have reached out asking for powerful prayers they could pray during difficult seasons of life. That's why I put together a collection of some of the most powerful faith-building prayers I know. These prayers have helped people find peace during anxiety, strength during hardship, and hope when they felt like giving up. The best part is that I decided to make it completely free. If you would like a copy, simply check the link in the description and I'll send it to you. Do not wait until another difficult season arrives. Take it now while it's available, and keep it close for the days ahead. Now there is something else you need to know. Tonight matters because tonight exposes what daylight often conceals. In the quiet hours, motives become louder. A smile that seemed enough during the day can lose its cover when the pressure rises. A promise that sounded beautiful can prove shallow when tested by inconvenience. And heaven is not cruel for allowing this. Heaven is merciful. There are people who can only reveal themselves when the atmosphere changes, when comfort is removed, when the familiar path is no longer available. That is why this specific night is important. Something in the unseen realm is pressing for truth, and the truth will not wait forever. A hidden obstacle has been working against peace, and you may have mistaken the obstacle for your own lack of faith. But the obstacle was often a person's divided heart, or a conversation you were not meant to hear until you were strong enough to recognize it. Comment ready if you can feel the atmosphere changing around you. I need you to understand this. The revelation coming is not merely to hurt you, it is to free you. Sometimes the most painful truth is also the most loving truth, because it ends the confusion that has kept your soul tied up for too long. You have been asking heaven for clarity, and clarity is what is being released. Yet clarity does not always arrive wrapped in softness. Sometimes it comes through an awkward exchange, a delayed response, a confession that cannot be taken back, or a sudden shift in someone's behavior that finally matches what your spirit sensed all along. This is why you cannot afford to let impatience make you miss the moment. If you have been tempted to stop believing, to numb yourself, to call it all meaningless, resist that urge now. Something unexpected is approaching, and it will validate what you once had to hold alone. Type faith if you are still willing to trust God before the proof fully appears. There are signs that only make sense in hindsight, and you have been living inside them. You remember a conversation that felt too carefully worded. You remember the strange hesitation before a commitment. You remember how a path you thought was guaranteed seemed to dissolve without explanation. At the time it looked like loss. But heaven has been threading meaning through those moments, and now pieces are beginning to line up. The person close to you may have hidden their real intentions behind concern. affection, duty, or convenience. But the pressure of this season will reveal what has been buried. It might not happen all at once. It may come through a slip, a contradiction, or an unexpected honesty that changes everything. Keep your heart steady, because the answer is closer than expected. Comment "Bled" if you believe God can turn even a painful revelation into peace. Do not underestimate the weight of unanswered prayer. Some of you have been praying the same prayer for so long that you almost stopped expecting an answer. Yet heaven has not forgotten one word of it. Every time you whispered into the dark, every time you cried in private, every time you asked God if you were being led somewhere or left behind, those prayers were heard, and now the delay is beginning to resolve itself into purpose. The reason this person is revealing their intentions now is because the season has shifted. What could stay hidden in one season can no longer survive in the next. The light has changed. The atmosphere has changed. You have changed, and that change matters more than you know. Because some truths can only be recognized by the person who has survived long enough to see them. Type 333 if you believe heaven has been arranging your steps with precision. There is another layer, and do not ignore this part. The hidden opposition has not only been outside you, it has also tried to enter through disappointment. That is one of the enemy's favorite places to work, because when you are tired, confusion begins to look like wisdom and resignation begins to look like peace. But it is not peace if it silences the voice of the Spirit. It is not maturity if it makes you surrender your discernment. Heaven is strengthening you right now so that when the truth comes, you will not collapse under it. You will stand in it. The person near you may attempt to explain, soften, or reshape the narrative, but God will give you the ability to see beneath the surface. This is not about becoming suspicious of everyone. It is about refusing to call deception love when heaven is calling it what it is. Type "Yes, Lord" if you are ready for truth that heals. I can feel the urgency in this word, because there are moments when a soul stands at the edge of a door and does not realize it is already opening. That is you now. The door may not look dramatic from the outside. There may be no thunder, no lightning, no obvious spectacle. But in the unseen realm, a threshold is shifting, and one honest moment will bring hidden intentions into full view. This is why the stars appear after sunset. They remind you that even after the day of confusion ends, light still remains. Even when one chapter darkens, heaven writes with another kind of brightness. You may discover that the person close to you has been carrying a decision for some time, a decision that will now be spoken, acted upon, or revealed through absence. Whatever form it takes, it will not leave you without clarity. Comment "I trust God" if you are willing to let heaven define the meaning of this moment. Many people watching this message have been carrying burdens they never talk about. If that sounds like you, I want to give you something special. I created a free prayer guide filled with powerful prayers for protection, breakthrough, peace, healing, and strength. Thousands of believers have already downloaded it and shared how much it encouraged them during difficult moments. There is absolutely no cost. I simply wanted to place this resource into the hands of people who need it most. If you feel led, go to the description and claim your free copy before continuing. One prayer prayed at the right moment can change more than you realize. Now listen carefully because the next part of this message is important. And here is what makes this even more powerful. The revelation is not only exposing them, it is confirming you. It is proving that you were not crazy for sensing what you sensed. You were not dramatic for feeling uneasy. You were not weak for needing answers. You were not foolish for hoping the story was still good. Heaven is showing you that your heart was reading the room before your mind could organize the evidence. That is why this revelation has been delayed until now. If it came too early, you would have mistaken fragments for the whole picture. But when the appointed hour arrives, the pattern will become undeniable. The strange pauses, the abrupt changes, the long silence, the momentary warmth followed by distance, all of it will begin to make sense. Do not stop here. There is still more unfolding before the end. Type chosen if you know God has kept you sensitive for a reason. Something is also happening in the background that you cannot see yet. A hidden conversation, a quiet tension, a choice between truth and self-protection, a crossroads where someone close to you must finally decide what they really want. This is why the revelation may come through an action before it comes through a confession. People often reveal themselves most honestly when they are under pressure. They speak with their habits, not their speeches. And heaven knows how to read both. Your breakthrough here is not merely in finding out what was hidden. It is in being delivered from the power of ambiguity. Uncertainty has tired your heart, but the coming answer will restore your footing. Before long, you will recognize that what felt like spiritual fog was actually the final haze before dawn. Comment, "My time is coming," if you are ready for the morning after this long night. There is a reason the imagery of rivers finding their source keeps appearing around this word, because this revelation is going back to the beginning. It will trace back to when the first doubt entered, when the first door closed, when the first sign was ignored, when the first unease moved through your spirit. Heaven is not exposing one isolated moment. Heaven is unraveling the thread all the way to its origin. That is why this feels so personal. It reaches into the hidden chambers of memory where you stored your questions and told yourself you would deal with them later. But later has arrived. The answer is rising. And when it comes, it will not only explain a person's intentions, it will explain why you had to walk through the waiting that shaped you. Stay with this, because the revelation itself is part of your healing. Type 1 receive if you are open to a truth that restores rather than destroys. Some of you have been so close to giving up on trusting again that you did not realize heaven was preparing one more intervention. Not every close person is a blessing, and not every delay is rejection, but some delays do lead to exposure. The difference is that God knows how to distinguish between what should be restored and what should be released. If this person has been in your life as a lesson, the lesson is about to become clear. If they have been in your life as a test, the test is nearing its final line. If they have been in your life as a mirror, then what they reveal will also reveal what you are now strong enough to refuse. This is a turning point, and turning points are never comfortable while you are standing in them. But they are holy. Type 777 if you feel that a cycle is ending and a new one is beginning. Keep your attention on the coming days, because the tone around you will change. Words that once sounded warm may become vague. Silence that once felt peaceful may become revealing. A small detail may catch your eye, and it will not be small for long. Heaven has a way of using the ordinary to disclose the extraordinary. A delayed reply, an unexpected message, a change in plans, a sudden honesty, a door that once seemed secure but now feels unstable. These are the kinds of moments where hidden intent rises to the surface. But do not panic. This is not collapse. This is separation. This is the divine sorting that makes room for what is pure, true, and aligned with your destiny. There is a breakthrough approaching, and its first sign will be clarity. Comment Amen if you believe God can make truth plain at the right time. I need to speak directly to the part of you that is tired of waiting. I know you are tired. I know you are worn from reading signs, second-guessing conversations, and asking heaven if the answer is ever going to come. But do not let exhaustion make you blind to timing. The same God who held the stars in place after sunset is also holding your answer in its appointed hour. No delay has been wasted. No tear has been lost. No prayer has fallen to the ground unheard. The person close to you may soon reveal their true intentions in a way that finally removes the fog. And when that happens, you will look back and see how much grace was protecting you while you waited. That is the wonder of this hour. The answer is not just about them. It is about your ability to see, to stand, and to move forward without losing yourself. Comment still standing if you are choosing strength over fear. And now we are approaching the edge of the unveiling. The scroll is open further. The midnight silence is breaking. The river has found its source. The stars are no longer hidden behind the clouds. What was buried is rising, and what was delayed is becoming visible. I want you to remember this when the moment comes. You do not need to beg for what has already been brought into the light. You do not need to chase what God is exposing. You do not need to shrink because the truth is heavier than you expected. Stand in the peace that comes from knowing heaven timed this perfectly. The revelation may sting at first, but it will also set you free from a weight you were never meant to carry. Comment protected if you believe God has been guarding your heart even through the hard part. So keep your heart open, but keep your eyes clear. Stay prayerful, but stay discerning. Do not rush to force what is being revealed in its own time. The person close to you will show you who they are, and once they do, you will understand why the delay had to happen exactly when it did. There was a reason heaven chose this specific moment, this night, this turning of the season. It was because you were finally ready to hear the truth without being destroyed by it. Dawn breaks after the long night, not to erase the night, but to prove that it did not last forever. That is your promise. That is your turning point. That is the answer approaching now. Type 1, believe if you are ready to walk into the light with courage. Before you leave, remember that my free prayer collection is waiting for you in the description below. Thousands of people have already downloaded it and used these prayers during seasons of anxiety, uncertainty, spiritual battles, and breakthrough. I made it completely free because I want every believer to have access to powerful prayers when they need them most. If this message encouraged you today, make sure you claim your free copy before you go. And if this message spoke to your heart, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and leave your prayer request in the comments so this community can stand with you in faith. May God bless you, strengthen you, and guide every step ahead.